You ever do everything for someone, sacrifice for them, love them unconditionally, and then one day they turn around and act like you don't exist? That happened to me with my own daughter. I raised my daughter, Emily, as a single dad. Her mom left us when she was 5, and from that moment on, it was just the two of us. I worked 2 jobs, missed sleep, and skipped meals just to make sure she had everything she needed. I was there for her first day of school. I stayed up all night helping her with homework. I held her hand when she was sick. I cheered for her at every event. I wasn't just her dad, I was her biggest supporter. So when she got engaged, I was over the moon. I told her, "Don't worry about the wedding. I'll take care of it." And I did. I covered everything. The venue, the catering, the decorations, the dress, the honeymoon. I wanted her day to be perfect, but little did I know, I wasn't even invited. The truth comes out. At first, I noticed small things. She stopped updating me on the wedding plans. Whenever I asked about it, she'd say, "Oh, it's nothing, Dad, just a little detail." Then I noticed I wasn't in any group chats. I wasn't asked to come to any dress fittings, tastings, or venue tours. One day I decided to drop by the wedding planner's office. After all, I was the one paying. And that's when I saw it, the guest list. My name wasn't there. But you know whose name was? Her mother, the woman who abandoned her. I felt my heart stop. I asked the wedding planner, "Are you sure this is the final list?" She nodded. I held back my emotions and simply said, "Thank you for your time." Then I walked out. That night I called Emily and calmly asked, "Hey, am I invited to your wedding?" She hesitated. And in that hesitation, I already knew the answer. Then she said the words that shattered me. "Dad, I just don't think it would be a good idea. You and Mom have too much history, and I don't want drama on my big day." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The woman who abandoned her was invited, but not the father who raised her? I took a deep breath. "Emily, I paid for this entire wedding." And she had the audacity to say, "I know, Dad, and I really appreciate it. But please understand, it's my special day." At that moment, something inside me changed. I realized I had spent years giving, sacrificing, and putting her first, only to be tossed aside like I was nothing. So I made a decision. The next morning, I called every single vendor, the venue, the caterer, the florist, the band. I canceled everything. Since my name was on all the contracts, I had full control. Every single deposit refunded back to me. The wedding planner called me, panicked. "Mr. Last name, Emily is freaking out. What happened?" I simply said, "Tell my daughter she's right. It's her special day, and now she can pay for it herself." Not even an hour later, my phone blew up. Emily was crying, screaming at me. "How could you do this? Everyone will be there." I calmly replied, "No, Emily. Now no one will." And I hung up. Family members called, saying I was being too harsh. Even my ex-wife had the nerve to call and say, "You're ruining her big day." I laughed. "Oh, now you care. Where were you for the last 20 years? Then I hung up on her too. Emily went radio silent after that. The wedding never happened. She and her fiancé had to elope because they couldn't afford to rebook everything. Months later, she tried reaching out. She apologized, saying she had been blinded by the excitement of the wedding and let others influence her decisions. But by then, I had learned my lesson. I simply told her, "I love you, Emily, but I won't be anyone's second choice." And I walked away.